Today, we're going over a recap of Prime Day stats across the board. Did you know that $14 billion was spent online in the USA over the 2 days of Prime Day? How cool is that? Pretty cool, I think. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Serious Sellers Podcast by Helium 10. I'm your host, Bradley Sutton, and this is the show that is our Helium 10 Weekly Buzz, where we give you a rundown of all the news stories that are going on in the Amazon, Walmart, e-commerce world, and we give you training tips of the week, as well as let you know what new features that Helium 10 has come out with that'll give you serious strategies for serious sellers of any level in the e-commerce world. Let's see what's buzzing. The thing that's on everybody's mind this week is Prime Day. So that's what we're going to be focusing on today. There's not much else going out or going on in the news. This is pretty much dominating all the headlines. So let's go ahead and hop into it and see what kind of like news stories came out on the numbers. And some of these numbers might blow you away on Prime Day. I hope your Prime Day was good. The first article is from CNBC. I love quoting CNBC, so they're the first one that we're going to go over here. And it's an article entitled, Amazon Prime Day drives U.S. online sales to record $14.2 billion. Now, that's not to say that Amazon sales were $14.2 billion. It was because of Amazon Prime Day that overall U.S. online sales hit a record $14.2 billion. Now, Amazon actually did not say specifically what kind of numbers, so we can only speculate on that. But this $14.2 billion, it says it represents an 11% year over year increase, according to Adobe Analytics. Now, one thing that Amazon said was everybody had Rufus, right? The shopping assistant, and says millions benefited from it. I don't know about you guys, but Rufus is useless to me so far as a shopper. Like I was trying to get some help with it and it was like contradicting itself. So I just like shop the old way. I really hope that Rufus can get a little bit better because I really think that's going to help Amazon sellers out there, help customers find some of your products even easier. But yeah, I wasn't one of those millions that it helped with my shopping. What about you guys? Did you use Rufus in your Prime Day shopping? Now, a couple more stats here. It said that average order size was about $60, up from $54. Actually, $58 was what it was up to from last year's event. Now, one thing interesting, it says shoppers purchased fewer big ticket items that we've seen in past years. So, like maybe not so many appliances or big TVs, etc. Now, interestingly, if you look at Amazon's search terms and brand analytics reports on day one of the Prime Day, you saw a lot of the usual suspects. Like, for example, last year's Prime Day, I think the number one keyword was Apple Watch. Well, this year that was the number 3 keyword, Apple Watch. Number 1 was AirPods. A lot of sales on AirPods. Kindle, nothing much that maybe third-party sellers would sell unless you're selling air fryer. That's the thing that always perplexed me. Every single year during Prime Day, one of the top keywords is air fryer. I don't think I've ever owned an air fryer, but for whatever reason on Prime Day, people love to buy air fryer. So maybe that's a good seasonal product that you can make a killing on Prime Day. But you see a lot of the stuff that was in like the top 20 keywords that were searched over Prime Day are things that are branded. Like we've got the AirPods, Ring doorbell, Lego, Yeti, Sol de Janeiro. I think that's like a perfume or a beauty product or something. Fire TV stick, Ring camera, Crocs, etc., etc. So maybe you guys weren't benefited by some of these top search terms, but check the search volume of your keywords. What went up this week? And maybe that is where you can attribute some of the increases in your sales too. Another article here is from USA Today. Had another interesting stat. It said nearly half of all online purchases, 49.2%, were made on mobile devices compared to desktop computers. That was up by almost 20%. All right. So, I mean, we knew that people were already, buying more online or on mobile phones than desktop before, but that's a pretty significant increase. One more article on some stats here. This is from Digital Commerce 360. Another kind of like interesting tidbit. It says that, hey, in contrast, TikTok's Deal for You days did not drive the same results as Amazon. So not a lot of increases. The discounts also weren't as much. It was only about 18% off on TikTok compared to about 22% on average on Amazon. Now, one interesting thing that this article, Digital Commerce, brought out, some of the top performing verticals for sales growth. Health and beauty had a 16% increase. Skincare sales grew 14%. Footwear, 12%. General footwear, another 12%. And globally, the biggest discounts was like apparel, 28%, and beauty, which was 26%. Now, one more interesting thing that this brought up, and I think it ties directly to like some new Amazon kind of rules, is discounts from US online retailers grew 10% year over year during the same period. The average discount rate across categories was 22%. All right. Now, there was a lot of new rules that Amazon tried to implement to try and like curb against people like raising up their price really high right before and then trying to do some bigger discount. You might have noticed that if you were trying to do Prime exclusive discounts or coupons, things like that, that you weren't able to, or you had to make sure that it was 20% off of your reference price. So you couldn't just go in and a couple of days earlier change the price, way high and then still, qualify for that 20% down because it was taking a rolling average. So it's kind of interesting, like, even with that, somehow the discount still grew. I'm curious, what about you guys? What do you think this increase in discounts, like maybe there's just more sellers like me for myself. Last year, I didn't do any like big discounts during Prime Day, but this year I was doing a lot of Prime exclusive discounts, which had to be the minimum of 20%. So maybe there's just a lot of sellers like me who really dove into the discounts this year. Now, we got a couple of LinkedIn articles here, one by the president of Pacvue, Melissa. She had some interesting numbers from day one. She first saw that the peak shopping was 7 a.m. and 6 p.m. It's kind of interesting, like right before people got to work, maybe right after they got to work. There was an increase in 9% on cost per click and 29% average spend year over year. 630% increase in average daily ad spend Prime Day versus the previous week. 78% of that ad spend went to sponsored product ads. 231% year over year increase in ad spend in the toys and games category. Now, also there was an article from Pacvue on LinkedIn, and a couple of the interesting points here was a 35% increase in DSP spend and a $30 million of ad spend in the baby products category on day one. Now, what about you guys? What kind of results were you having? In my Project 5K account, like I said, I was doing discounts this year that I didn't do that last year. I was up over 5x compared to last year. Same thing in Project X. It was like 4 or 5x. Let me show you my Project X sales chart for the last week. You can see like in July 15, July 14, pretty low, and then boom, jumped up for the 2 days of Prime Days, about 5x. I did a couple of polls in Helium 10 Facebook groups. In our Serious Sellers Club, I asked, hey, what was your average Prime Day sales compared to your average selling days leading up to Prime Day? And 40% said it was between 1.5x and 3x. 35% was 3x and 5x. And then there is 21% of people who had 5 to 10x what a regular day sales would be. I also asked the question, like, how did your Prime Day compare to last year? Now, this was interesting. 30% actually said that their Prime Day this year was less than what they did last year. Another 30% said it was 1.5x. 25% said about the same. And there was about another 15% said it was 2x, over 2x last year's Prime Day sales. So what about you guys out there? How was your Prime Day? What was your ad spend like? Let me know in the comments below. I'm very curious. Was it better than last Prime Day for you? Were you up over your normal previous week, like 2x, 5x? What was it? What about your ad spend? How did your conversions do? There's a lot of ways to look at the success or failure of Prime Day. Don't always just look at the numbers of Prime Day itself. Something could be inflated, or you were doing discounts that maybe lost you some profit on some products. But did that extra traffic and maybe a boost in keyword ranks, is that, long term actually going to be profitable for you? There's a lot of ways to look at, the success or failure of your Prime Day. Let me know how yours was in the comments below. All right, that's it for the news this week. Now, next week, we actually have a live monthly webinar that we call our monthly Freedom Ticket webinar, where there's a module that we film live with a live studio audience, like Saturday Night Live, but it's a live audience, and we have an expert talk on an advanced subject, and then that's going to be a module that actually ends up in Freedom Ticket. And next week's topic, or for the month of July, is about advanced branding techniques and also how to differentiate your product. And we're bringing on guest expert Emma Tamir. So if you guys are interested in learning about that, that's for all levels of Amazon sellers. Make sure to register for that special live training at h10.me/FT for Freedom Ticket July, FT July. Make sure you attend live, because there's not going to be a replay. The only way you're going to see it after that is maybe a month later after it's edited and it gets put into Freedom Ticket. So make sure to register and show up live for that excellent training. All right, let's hop into the Helium 10 new feature alerts. And the first one is for those of you selling on Walmart. If you're selling on Walmart and you're using Adtomic, you now have, for the first time ever, dayparting for your Walmart advertising. So for those of you who have Adtomic, again, for Walmart, go in there. You're going to see under campaign selection some new dayparting schedule criteria. This is a screenshot of what it looks like. I can't give you a live demo. I don't have Adtomic yet in my Walmart account. I'm about to install that this week because of all the new features. But dayparting, super cool. Those of you who have Adtomic, we've had that for a long time already, but it allows you to really see, all right, hey, let me make sure I'm concentrating my ad spend on the times a day and maybe days a week that really are going to work for me. So make sure to check that out. Another new update. This is kind of like a sneak peek. All right. Right now, it's only available to Helium 10 Elite members because, Helium 10 Elite members always get first crack at all of our tools, but it's going to come to Diamond and Platinum soon enough. So I'm going to give you guys a sneak peek. I've been talking about a while how we have a revamped keyword tracker. We haven't updated keyword tracker in years. And so completely new interface, as you guys can see. And you're going to be able to make notes and put dates on the notes like, hey, I'm doing this kind of test. And then now all of a sudden you're going to be able to track like, oh, this is on the date of July 11th, I increased my ad spend. And now I can see how is my keyword tracking going after that. I have new columns here like Amazon, how many Amazon's choice keywords, how many keywords do I have for my product that hit the Amazon brand analytics top click keywords. That's a brand new thing that we're going to show. What's my category BSR for this product? A lot of cool things here. What's more is once you expand out the keyword, you are going to be able to put tags. Before in the old keyword tracker, you just put a star and then maybe change the star, but you can have groups of keywords that all have tags and you just click it. And then all of those keywords are going to pop up. Like this is actually a product I have in launch right now. And this is my phase 1 launch keywords. So I just hit that button and now I can see all of those keywords go right here to the top. Another cool update. You ever notice that maybe sometimes you lost your keyword rank? Like here's a keyword right here, a fresh egg holder. Now, I know I was ranking before, but now you can see right here, it says I'm ranked over 306. So that means like I'm not ranking at all in the first 7 pages. I'm not in sponsored ads. So what do I tell you to do back in the old days when you see that? Well, I was like, all right, take this keyword, put it into index checker and see if you are indexed or not. Because if you lost your indexing, now you got to figure out what happened. You don't have to go to index checker anymore. Right here next to the keyword, you can just hit run index checker right here within keyword tracker, and it is going to tell you if you are indexed or not. And as you can see here, I got a check mark, meaning I am indexed, so I'm okay. Another thing it's going to tell me is what are the departments that my keyword is showing up or my product is showing up in for this keyword. Like this one here is showing up for some reason in aprons, decorative wood stamps. Where does this come from? Well, when you search a keyword on Amazon, you're going to see the departments on the left. All right. So we are taking note of that. And just if you're ever wondering if something changes and maybe like, hey, why is my traffic down or why is my keyword ranking different? It could be that Amazon changed the department that you're showing up. So it might be something that you could look in and have some insight into that you couldn't before. Another cool thing is, hey, maybe you don't want to see the actual rank, the page rank, but you're wondering on what page are you on? So like for the organic rank, instead of the position, you can now see, all right, am I on page 1, page 2, page 3, page 4? This one, you can toggle that for organic and sponsored. One last thing, super cool. We have now the suggested keyword. So this is kind of like what you can do is you can set up your own like mini Cerebro. This is kind of like what we've had in Insight's dashboard. And then you can have a settings where you're like, hey, if you find that I have a keyword where I'm not ranking or I'm ranking from this, and then one of my competitors is ranked here on page 1 and I'm not, give me a suggestion to add that keyword. All right. Maybe it's not on my radar. All right. So you can like trigger some things here that will allow you to add keywords to your keyword tracker that maybe you didn't even realize are relevant to your niche. So super cool updates that are coming to keyword tracker right now. If you're a Helium 10 Elite member, make sure to go to the top of the screen and then hit try the new keyword tracker and you'll get first access to it. And then you Platinum and Diamond members, you guys will get access to this soon. There's tons of other things coming to keyword tracker in the next couple months now that we have this new UI here, some things that we're bringing in from Market Tracker 360 that we've always had, like, keyword heat maps and things like that. So look out for super cool stuff happening to keyword tracker. All right, now for the training tip of the week. This is something I think that's relevant throughout the year, but especially in the days after Prime Day. Maybe you're curious, hey, what was my conversion rate like on Prime Day compared to my regular conversion rate? Basically taking the Amazon business reports and looking at your page views and then comparing that to your number of unit sales, right? So you can actually do that here in Helium 10. I'm going to show you a way. I'm going to show you how to do it on the Insights dashboard. I think only if you have Diamond plan, you can do it on your Insights dashboard, but you can also do it on your Profits dashboard if you have a Platinum plan. I'm almost positive. But this is something I highly recommend doing, especially right today, so you can take a look at what your Prime Day was. So if you're on your dashboard, go ahead and hit the Add Chart button, and these show all of our pre-done charts. And then the one I want you guys to find, and the same thing for you who have Platinum in your Profits, is the one called Sales and Traffic Conversion. Make sure to go ahead and hit Add, and it's going to add it somewhere on the page. Now, once you've added it, this whole graph starts coming up, and you can start looking at your number of page views you had, number of sessions, and your units sold. And you can see, like, I had abysmal conversion rate, leading into Prime Day, 2%, 1%, 1%. And then day one of Prime Day, 6%, day two of Prime Day, 7%. So my conversion rate went up by like 200, 300% on Prime Day. So obviously, I'm looking at this on Prime Day, but you can look at it any time of year. Hey, how is your conversion rate doing overall on all of your products? And then just make sure, hey, are there any peaks and valleys? And then try and figure out what happened that caused that peak or valley, and try and double down on there or try and fix it if it's one of those valleys. All right, guys, that's it for the weekly buzz this week. Can't wait to catch you next week to see what's buzzing.